Matthew Bell with AlzheimersProof.com, and today I wanted to describe some free resources that are available to people who are caring for those who have Alzheimer's disease or other cognitive impairments. I'm going to break this video down into essentially 3 different categories. The first category is going to be free assistance with respect to practicalities. The second is going to be free information. And the third is going to be free resources that have to do with money and funding and that kind of thing. First of all, you should be aware that there are numerous support groups that help those people who are caring for somebody who might have Alzheimer's or some other kind of dementia. Some are government affiliated and some are in the private sector. The Administration on Aging has something called the Administration for Community Living. And that organization, under its auspices, is something called the Eldercare Locator. This is a free resource that helps to pair Alzheimer's sufferers and their caretakers with some kind of support structure.
So let's take a look at some of the websites that are available. The first one that I want to draw your attention to is Eldercare Locator. Eldercare Locator, you can see in the center here, is a public service of the U.S. Administration on Aging. They allow you to enter a zip code into the search bar, press search, see it's thinking about it. Once you enter a zip code and hit search, you can see that it brings up various different organizations, agencies, and other places where you can find assistance for various facets of elder care. So for example, I typed in a zip code in the Los Angeles area, and you see the first one, and it says basically Area Agencies on Aging, the City of Los Angeles Department of Aging, American Indian Tribes and Tribal Organizations, California Rural Indian Health Board, the California Department of Aging, the City of Los Angeles Department of Aging, Elder Protective Services, Health Insurance Counseling and Advocacy, Community Legal Aid. Then you see there's a Long-Term Care Ombudsman. So just a number of different resources available through the Eldercare Locator.
Another is the Veterans Administration. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs runs a website at caregiver.va.gov. Let's take a look.
Now, for certain individuals, not everybody, if you are military connected, past, present, and you're struggling with these issues or have the need for further services, you might look up your eligibility for various benefits and other things through the Veterans Association. So the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, the VA, you can see here, has its own website, caregiver.va.gov. And this particular website, you can see support for caregivers. There's I presume here, toll-free number. There's an additional web link for VA mission. You can see there are various different support links. There are tips by diagnosis. And you can see here, obviously, for the Veterans Association or Veterans Administration, the different injuries and diseases run beyond Alzheimer's disease. So you have PTSD, other traumatic injuries, which unfortunately will probably be all too common in military and other veterans. But you also have tips and tools. You've got publications. Not all of these are going to be Alzheimer's or dementia related, as we just saw. There are going to be a variety of different conditions, and I'm sure there are more if you click on the More button. But the website, again, is caregiver.va.gov, and for military families, this is going to be a valuable gateway to additional resources. And in fact, obviously, it's available to peruse or to view the website. Doesn't require any kind of login or validation of military background. However, once you navigate further in, there's no question that some of these are going to probably rely on your status as a veteran. So if it comes down to paid resources, they may be available for veterans and unavailable for others.
I would be remiss if I didn't also mention the Alzheimer's Association. The Alzheimer's Association has a vast network. They have support information, they have programs and support that you can link to, and I'll show you that in 1 second.
One of the big important websites for Alzheimer's disease is going to have to be the Alzheimer's Association. There's no question about the fact that the Alzheimer's Association is going to be the go-to website for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. You can see that they have a 24-hour-a-day helpline, a 1-800 number. They advertise various events, as you see prominently here, the Walk to End Alzheimer's Disease. But one of the most helpful aspects of the site, and the reason that I draw your attention to it right now, is the fact that you have the ability to be linked to several different support groups. So you can see the URL alz.org and then /help-support/community/support-groups. But I'll tell you, if you just search for Alzheimer's Association support groups on Google, you should have no difficulty landing on this page. And you see support groups, in-person support groups, and then message boards and online communities. So ALZ Connected has chat rooms and other places where you can interact with people who can both inspire you, inform you, help you potentially, and maybe you can give them some assistance as well and moral support. But then you find in-person support groups, and we read the paragraph here. It says we offer peer or professionally led groups for caregivers, individuals living with Alzheimer's, and others dealing with the disease. All support groups are facilitated by trained individuals. Many locations offer specialized groups for children, individuals with younger onset and early stage Alzheimer's, adult caregivers, and others with specific needs. Then it says learn more by clicking on the link, and if you click on the link, you'll find that it directs you to this page, support groups. You see featured events. Here's their link again for ALZ Connected, in-person support groups, and then you can see that you have keyword, zip code again. So if I just type in the zip code and then check apply filters, then you see that you have various care support groups that pop up. Caregiver support group, particular adult day center, adult center city, Joslyn Adult Center City of Burbank, Meadowbrook Caregiver Support Group, Telephone Support Group, and there are pages here, and you see that it says showing 1 to 6 of 164 results. So quite a number of different support groups. The Alzheimer's Association, because of its age and because of its size, is very good for connecting you to other people. It's got a great network of people. But now the second thing is when you Google Alzheimer's Association and support, you'll also find a link to this page, which includes programs and support. So once again, here you can see the Alzheimer's 24/7 helpline, local resources, support programs, education programs, early stage social engagement programs. In other words, for a person who is struggling with early stage dementia, this particular link is going to connect you with other people and help you essentially to interact. So if we click on that, just for example, early stage engagement program. So you see Alzheimer's Association early stage engagement programs offer a comfortable way to get out, get active, and get connected to others who are living in the beginning stage of Alzheimer's or other dementia. So now just a brief word on early stage dementia. Of course, Alzheimer's disease is a progressive disease. So you can see one of the articles that I have tackled this question. And the issue is how many stages. Some of this is academic, but you can watch my video presentation. You can read about the various different stages, what to expect in beginning and early stage Alzheimer's disease. And in addition to that, maybe even more helpful, there may be certain ways that you can improve your mental function and help to stave off Alzheimer's disease. I've written about that as well. 12 brain exercises. I have videos on improving cognitive function with things such as chess and checkers and crossword puzzles and other kinds of things like this. So I invite you to check those resources out. But once again, in terms of the Alzheimer's Association, you see just all kinds of resources here.
There are also a number of things that you might be able to find on Facebook. I may do an entire video just on Facebook resources, but one that is prominent is one called Memory People. This is a closed Facebook page that is devoted to helping caretakers and others who are struggling with this problem.
Now, there are a number of other groups. One that I will draw your attention to is Memory People. And you can see that this says Memory People awareness page, bringing awareness, changing lives. This particular group you can see is a closed Facebook group. It's a community of people, and you can see here that there are a number of different resources on this page for people who have access to it. And presumably through Facebook, you would log in. Once you're logged in, you would then request membership in the group, try to join it, and you can see that there are inspirational quotes. We just saw up front here a video of some kind. Much of this looks like emotional support. A picture paints 1,000 words. You are not alone, right? This is going to be another resource?
Another that I discovered, and there's a Facebook presence here, but there's also a more general presence on the World Wide Web, and that is a website called Purple Sherpas. Now, the Purple Sherpas group is interestingly named. You probably won't forget it after you hear it, but it is named after a group that lives in Nepal and Tibet, and they're basically a Himalayan tribe that helps people to climb mountains, believe it or not. And so these mountaineers essentially will leave things behind in order to help those who follow them. And that's kind of the idea of the Purple Sherpas, is that you have a network of caregivers who are experienced in dealing with Alzheimer's sufferers. They have gone through it, and they are willing to share their information and expertise with people who follow behind them.
I will just briefly show you the Purple Sherpa website. You can see thepurplesherpa.org. That's THEPURPLESHERPA.org. That's thepurplesherpa.org. You can see, obviously, they depict the mountaintop there in conjunction with their name, as I just sketched for you. Scrolling down, you can kind of see they're going to have a few videos. They're going to have some tips. They have here in a resource center, how can we help? So they've got their weblog, they have support, they have resources, they have an area with free tools. There's a book there. I clicked on it. You can donate. You can meet other people who are, as it says here, your fellow Sherpas, various books, and a number of different tips and things that have been arranged for you. And once again, the Purple Sherpa is another one of these that also has a Facebook presence. So you can see here, I'm not logged in, but you can see here that the Purple Sherpa is a closed group. There is contact information there, and in both email and in telephone form and so on.
I'm going to do an entire video just on websites. In fact, I'll probably do an entire series that divides it into a number of different things, from informational resources to support groups to sort of offbeat or alternative informational sources. And I will just kind of leave it to viewers to discriminate and to filter out what they would like to follow up on and what they would not like to follow up on. A second category, so number 2 in terms of support resources, number 1 was support groups. Number 2 is going to be your family and residential councils at a nursing home. Now, whereas the support groups are essentially helpful because they have other people who are in the same situation that you might be in. They might be caring for other relatives who have dementia or Alzheimer's disease or loved ones, and they are extremely helpful at sharing their information. But in addition to that, you might also avail yourself, if your relative is part of an assisted living community or if he or she is part of a nursing home, there may also be a family or residence council that is part of that nursing home. Now, the benefit there is you might be associated with people whose loved ones have different disabilities, possibly just normal aging, so it may not always be a person who is cognitively impaired. But the benefit there is that they're going to share the same living experience. So you might, with the first category of support, you might be connected with support and caregivers all across the country or all across the world. But in terms of affiliating yourself with your family council or residence council, you're going to be linked in with people who are sharing the same living experience as your loved one or as you, and they're going to be able to comment on things like the practicalities of day-to-day life. The family council that I was a part of when my father was in a nursing home essentially commented on things like the availability of silverware, the availability of wheelchairs, the staffing problems, food problems, and things that are very practical and very institution-oriented. A third category of free practical resources is going to be family, friends, neighbors. Always think that you might have a resource there that I might be able to tap, at least for respite, which is to say kind of a break from normal caregiving responsibilities. Don't forget about church groups. If you belong to a church, a mosque, a synagogue, or other religious group, they may also have programs that are available to assist you or persons who are available to lend you a hand. You might be affiliated with various fraternal organizations or service or charitable organizations that might have the same function. And again, don't forget about any benefits that you might qualify for based on professional or military association, whether present or past. Now, the second category of support, the first was practical support. The second is going to be information. Where can you get free quality information? The first resource I'll mention here is going to be your family doctor. Now, the doctor obviously is going to charge for examinations, but many health groups have set up some sort of informational gateway, some sort of online presence, maybe a portal that you log into, and oftentimes you're able to type in email questions and the doctor will respond to you later on. There may also be a free number that you can call to ask a nurse or other medical professional a question, and then they will get back to you later that day, and usually there's no bill associated with any of that. So feel free to reach out to your personal physician. The second is a government organization that's affiliated with the National Institute of Health and the National Institute on Aging, and this is their Alzheimer's Disease Education and Referral Center. This organization has a 1-800 number, there's a web presence, you can actually email or telephone in questions and they will give you quality information that you can essentially use for caregiving, for other medical questions and the like of this.
Now here, once again, you have what is referred to as the ADEAR, ADEAR, and so you have the Alzheimer's Disease Education and Referral Center. This is a subset of the National Institute of Health, and in specific, the National Institute on Aging. And you can see here that there is a website link, which this is on healthfinder.gov, but you can find the website link, and I'll open it now. You can also see there's an email address. You can see that there's a physical address to write to. You can see description of the website is the Alzheimer's Disease Education and Referral Center is a service of the federal government's National Institute on Aging, one of the National Institutes of Health. The center provides accurate, up-to-date information about Alzheimer's disease and related disorders to patients and their families, caregivers, healthcare providers, and the public. It operates a toll-free information and referral line and referrals. Notice that one, 1-800-438-4380. You can see the times available. Callers can get answers to basic questions about Alzheimer's disease, caregiving, research findings, treatment studies, free publications, and referrals to other organizations and informational services. So here you have that, and if you notice, if I open up the link, you can see the National Institute on Aging. This is what actually comes up. NIA, that's National Institute on Aging, nia.nih.gov/health/Alzheimer's. And you can see here various different articles, basics of Alzheimer's disease, causes of Alzheimer's disease, and you can see various different articles regarding symptoms, related dementias, and this kind of thing. So, and then there's a subset here with local news. So this is going to be extremely good if you want to keep up with various news-related items that have to do with Alzheimer's disease. I would also recommend to you some of the resources on alzheimersproof.com. I have an article on the 10 possible causes and what you can do about each one. So each potential cause suggests an intervention. So if you are of the opinion that it is acetylcholine deficiency that causes Alzheimer's disease, then you can boost or try boosting acetylcholine in various ways. And you can run down the list here, but I recommend alzheimersproof.com to you, the National Institute on Aging's website, and so on.
I also don't want to neglect to mention your local library. Many people today, with the pervasiveness of the internet and the World Wide Web, maybe overlook the local library, and there's no doubt that budget cuts may have affected a number of different local libraries, but you should still bear in mind that librarians have degrees in researching, and they are experts at finding information, and they are experts sometimes at finding information that is extremely hard or otherwise would be impractical for you to be able to locate on your own. Certain periodicals, magazines, newsletters may not have been scanned or uploaded or may not be available otherwise on the internet. So don't forget about your local library. A further category, though, will be the internet. Of course, we are in the information age, and the internet is a vast and plentiful resource, bountiful resource that is full of information that you can utilize and that you can tap into. I am going to have to spend an entire series, as I mentioned, on different websites, so I don't want to take up a lot of time here, but suffice it to say that the Alzheimer's Association, or alz.org, alz.org, alzheimers.net, WebMD.
So WebMD is a great resource for medical information about Alzheimer's disease. And you can see here, WebMD has specific information just on Alzheimer's disease. They have both written articles as well as links to various, it looks like, videos here, and they suggest various search terms. They give you links to articles where you can understand more about the disease. So one of the things that my ambition with AlzheimersProof.com is to do is to provide a gateway so that if you can't remember all these links, you can just go to AlzheimersProof.com, and as you proceed down the articles, I have links to other pieces of information and just kind of overview material for you. But there's no question WebMD is a huge and authoritative website in the medical field. Thing about WebMD, of course, is that it's not focused on Alzheimer's disease or dementia. It is just simply all types of conditions and diseases. But obviously, Alzheimer's is a part of that, and the information that you get from the WebMD website is going to have been vetted and proofed by people in medical field, various doctors. Usually the articles will say on them something about that. So if we just click on one article, Understanding Alzheimer's Disease, the Basics, and you can scroll down, you can see they have little diagrams and things like this. And then you can see here that at the bottom of the article, it says WebMD medical reference, and then it says reviewed by, and gives a particular doctor's name and a date, which is February of earlier this year in 2019. So the point is, WebMD information you can count on being the kind of information that the prevailing medical community would give to you. WebMD is going to be therefore reliable in that regard.
These websites are prestigious, they are well established, they're trusted sources of information, and you should not hesitate to, if you have an internet connection and you are able to navigate, you should be able to access a number of informational answers, things that you might find out about medical conditions, about caregiver and other support questions, and many of these things are going to be available to you if you understand how to navigate the World Wide Web. A final category here is going to be just, let's call it miscellaneous. So miscellaneous avenues of information. These are going to include things like summit conferences. Now, of course, a summit conference in political science is going to be the meeting of various heads of state. So what we mean in this case is maybe representatives from various different fields who might have an online summit, which is basically the idea would be they would share information, maybe medical information, funding information from a lawyer's point of view, from a doctor's point of view, from a naturopath's point of view, and try to lend a different perspective onto questions like normal aging, cognitive impairment, and Alzheimer's disease in specific. You'll find various webinars. If you sign up for Facebook groups, if you sign up for various websites, are going to have email lists that will update you when they have these webinars available, and you might find something of use in one of them. Another possibility is going to be your local university or its extension service. Universities are a wealth of information. They have professors on staff who have spent their lives researching particular topics, and if you have a research institute that is near you where the professors have some kind of expertise in psychology or physiology or biology or medicine, neurology, and the like of this, they may be a wealth of information, and you shouldn't hesitate to at least reach out to them, because even if they cannot answer your question, they may be able to point you to somebody who can. Now, the final category of free resources that I want to go into presently is going to be those free resources that are geared toward helping you to pay for the care for your loved one or for yourself. The first that I'm going to mention is a government-sponsored website. It is sponsored by the National Council on Aging, and the website is called benefitscheckup.org. That's benefitscheckup.org. Now, this website is a free resource that is designed to help you to locate benefits that you might qualify for. Please log on to the website, type in the information, and you can perhaps find a number of resources that you might not have thought of, that I might not be sharing with you now, that you might qualify for.
When it comes to money, there are a number of websites that you should bear in mind and that you should probably check out. The first is going to be Benefits Checkup. And you can see here that this is, first of all, the National Council on Aging. So we're talking about a government-connected website here. And you can see our goal is to improve the health and economic security of 10 million older adults. And then they give a year by 2020. We do the research for you. So here it says benefits checkup team monitors the benefits landscape for updates and changes to policies and programs. We match your unique needs to benefit programs and eligibility requirements using our comprehensive tool. And then your benefits are waiting. Did you know that there are over 2,500 federal, state, and private benefit programs available? And then there's a link, start finding benefits with our questionnaire, browse our resource library. So here you go, 3 steps: answer questions, get your report, and then you see how to apply. So they walk you through if benefits are available for you, and if paying for long-term care is an issue, and I know it is, and I know it is going to be one of the primary concerns for a lot of people, benefitscheckup.org is going to be an absolute lifesaver for many, many people.
Another is various grant programs. Some of these grant programs are under the auspices of the Alzheimer's Association, Hilarity for Charity, and Home Instead Senior Care. A Google search might also reveal other grant opportunities that are available to you or your caretaker.
Now you see here, additionally, there's a website, payingforseniorcare.com. This website has various links for finding financial assistance, finding affordable living, finding care options. There are various application links. Then there's another option, and that is particular grants. So apply for dementia home care grant. This is something that is liable to change year to year, whether or not there's going to be an extended availability of this. I can't comment on that, but you can see here a couple of groups: Hilarity for Charity, Home Instead Senior Care, working together in order to make available this recharge relief grant or extended relief respite grant. And it is available for people who, or caretakers or loved one living with Alzheimer's and dementia, must fit within the following criteria. So it is available if you match these various criteria. Currently living at home with Alzheimer's disease or related dementia. Caregiver is facing financial and emotional hardships due to the unique challenges of Alzheimer's, and you have to reside in the United States or Canada. And you see there are 2 grants, there are descriptions there, there's email links for contacting. The copyright on this page is 2019, which is a good sign. Now, there may be other things on the helpforalzheimersfamilies.com website. So once again, I would think funding of this sort is hit or miss sometimes. In this economic climate, a lot of things are going away, but you might, if you cannot find assistance at one of the other links, you might Google grant programs. And again, this is one of the places to start. So I'm trying to give you language for helping you when you do a search.
A final idea is going to be the kinds of GoFundMe or crowdfunding websites, GoFundMe being one of the most prominent. Another is Go Get Funding, and a third is Indiegogo. Now there are a number of these different websites available. Many of them are for entrepreneurs with business ideas. Some of them are for more creative types with perhaps artistic projects or endeavors that they wish to try to get funding for. On occasion, these websites can be used for people who have personal difficulties. Paying for funeral expenses is a common one, paying for medical bills, and so you should be aware that this might be a viable avenue for you if you find yourself in need.
Now, in a pinch, for people who really are in a tough situation, GoFundMe has become a go-to for fundraising. And so you see here the GoFundMe website. You can start a GoFundMe page. It says starting is easy, 100% platform fee. It says starting is easy, 0% platform fee. And then there's an asterisk on that. It says starting is easy, 0% platform fee. And then you can see the asterisk is connected to this, which says standard transaction fees apply to credit card and debit card transactions. So in other words, they're telling you there's no platform fee. You can see here that fundraise for memorial, medical, emergency, nonprofit. So, if you click on medical, you're going to fundraise for medical. Then it says here, with a free GoFundMe, you can get immediate help with medical bills. And then it gives examples of people who have had success doing this raising money for various medical problems. And there are other websites along the lines of this that I just mentioned. There's also Go Get Funding and Indiegogo. I won't show each of these, but you can click on them on your own.
And of course, there are government assistance programs, Medicaid being the most prominent. Medicaid is funded by the federal government, but this program is administered by the individual states. So you'll need to have some sort of a guide. You'll need to have a Medicaid application. It can be fairly complex. I'm not going to get into the inner workings in this video. I have spoken about it in other places. So just as a quick review, there are a number of places where you might be able to get free resources. In terms of support, there may be various support groups, your resident and family councils at the nursing home, friends, family, neighbors, free information available through your doctor, through your local library, through various websites and other miscellaneous sources like universities, webinars, and ultimately even some availability of money or the ability to look for where you might qualify for benefits. For example, benefitscheckup.org, various grant programs, number 9, and various crowdfunding and crowdsource funding web pages like GoFundMe, number 10, as well as Go Get Funding and Indiegogo.
Now, I commend this one to you as well. This is a book, Free Stuff for Seniors, and Matthew Lesko is one of these perennial people who will remember him from infomercial days, commercials on television where he would talk about various different free products. He's got a number of different books available geared towards various different special interest trajectories, and this particular one is oriented apparently for seniors. I don't have the book, I can't comment, but Free Stuff for Seniors and just a quick search turns up a few pieces of information, at least 3 pages. You see here 166, 167, and 168 of this edition of the book. And it's a 380-page book. And so it does reference Alzheimer's disease, but obviously out of a 300-page book, only 3 pages, or actually it says 7 pages have come up, but so 7 pages out of 380 pages. It's a small subset it is not specifically geared towards Alzheimer's, but for people who have Alzheimer's or for caregivers, some of the other information in the book may also be of value. I will have a resource summary on alzheimersproof.com, and that resource summary will include a link for this particular book.
Now, if you found something of value in this video, I would just ask that you like the video, subscribe to the channel. That helps me producing content. It helps me to know what content is resonating. It also helps with YouTube's algorithm to try to give this channel the reach that I think would benefit families who need this information. I thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you again in another video. Thank you very much.